I really need to put a fade out on that song. We're live.
Why?
Ah. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Quack. That's it. That's the stream.
That's the stream. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Sorry, just started playing the music again. Hi. This is the stream. We're here before stream. We are in a post Good Omens 2 world, and people have feelings. Jeeb's feelings are particularly positive, as we can see.
It's the last, 20 minutes, okay? Everything until then is fine.
Was it really that quick?
When I say, the last bit of the last episode, I mean
Wow.
That's when all the sadness happens.
Meanwhile, we have Ragdoll, who is chugging along. Look at that face. They're gonna make it through.
Yep.
Yay.
I have not watched Good Omens Season 2, though I do not care about spoilers, so don't worry about that, Cheeb. Because I've been dealing with 2-year-old children and tech deciding to crap out.
Oh dear. That's not good.
Yeah, the touch screen on my 4-year-old cell phone has decided to go on the fritz. So it's like, well, kind of needed a new cell phone for about a year now with some of the other things that have been fucking up with it, so might as well do it now while the touchscreen sort of works.
Well, you can still use
Instead
it enough
of
to
waiting
order
for
a new
that
one.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and this is an issue I have with a lot of technology things, this is another thing I will sit on my rocking chair and bitch about, though this is not me bitching about the youth, this is me bitching about tech companies. Things where you can only interact, meaningfully interact with it via touchscreen are not a good idea, generally. Like, the ability to interact with it as a touchscreen, sure. But if there's no other way of, putting commands into this thing than the touchscreen, that's a problem.
Yeah, pretty much.
Should I put Good Omens spoilers in the title, just in case?
Probably. I want to rant about it, but also I always feel like I should be wary of spoilers because I know people want to watch it, so that's why I said don't go to my Tumblr right now, and then posted so many things.
Like I said, don't worry about me. There are definitely things where if I know the gimmick of it, and I know it's something where interacting with it, knowing the gimmick does change the experience, I will encourage people to, not look it up like Inscription. That's definitely a different feel if you go into it knowing what's going on. But I'm sort of the opinion that if knowing the overarching ideas of what's going on completely kills the thing as a game or a story or whatever, if that just ruins everything with it, then it wasn't done well in the first place. So I don't mind spoilers.
Yeah.
Because either it's a thing where knowing the spoiler means that I can, be like, ooh, tension build up. I know this is going to happen, but how is it going to happen? Or it's something where I sit there and go, yeah, that's just a bad movie.
Yeah. I I don't mind spoilers either. I knew like I didn't avoid any tags or whatever. I don't mind seeing it. Like I'm not intentionally searching them out, but if I come across them, it's fine. It's whatever. I don't care. But I do know that some people are very wary of spoilers.
Yeah, I've put
So
spoilers in the title of the stream now, so.
yeah. Okay, let me explain the entire plot to you. I mean, Good Omens mostly is about Crowley and Aziraphale, right?
Entirely, as far as I'm concerned.
As far as you're concerned, entirely.
I mean, as far as
Um,
the fandom is concerned, yeah, at least.
yeah. Well, the second season is like more of that. It's very much like, um, there's heaven, there's hell, and then there's like the in between, and they're trying to like walk the in between, while still like heaven and hell are like basically monitoring them, even though they've technically broken free. Um, so they still can't really watch out, and they've been like dancing around this thing, like around their relationship and whatever for like 6,000 years because of the monitoring of hell and heaven. That's basic Good Omens knowledge. um,
And yes, in Good Omens, the world is a young Earth,
yes,
and it's a very funny introduction to the fact that it's a young Earth
yeah, because
because we
God
get the exact
herself
date.
narrates it.
We get the exact date and the Earth's star sign.
Yeah. Um. So that's basically like the setup of the season and like how they go about this like middle ground and how they both see it. Um. And it's just like a mess of like they're it's explicitly stated in the show they don't really talk to each other. They don't communicate about this like big moral issue of how they both go about this problem that they're having. Um which they have different viewpoints on. Um and so at the end of the second season, the last episode, the last 20 minutes, um Aziraphale gets the offer to from the Metatron, from the voice of God, to return to heaven and lead the angels for the second coming. Uh and he gets that offer and he doesn't really consider it until the Metatron brings up Crowley and how he can reinstate Crowley as an angel. And Aziraphale accepts. Crowley, who, after getting talked to by the humans of that season, was about to confess and actually talk about things, here's this information that Aziraphale wants to go back to heaven and that he wants Crowley to be an angel again, even though Crowley doesn't fucking want that. He's never wanted that. Um, feels very betrayed. Does end up confessing, ends up kissing Aziraphale. And then they split apart and Aziraphale goes to heaven. Because he's already excited and that's how he thinks he can do the most good. That's the ending of the second season of second season of Good Omens, and I don't think that made any sense because there's lots of more knowledge. But
Well, given that I already have been exposed to GIFs and things, it felt like that made sense.
yeah.
I guess Ragdoll's the the litmus test here.
No, obviously that doesn't give the whole context of what's going on throughout the entire series, but that
Mm.
at least that does give pretty good context onto why people are screaming.
Yeah, that's pretty much why people are screaming, because they're like they were at like they're not at a point where they can be together, and it's like It's really good writing. It was really good acting. It's amazing, like story wise. It's awful.
It's awful because everyone's invested.
Yeah, like it's great, but it's awful. It's like a lot of people on Tumblr, I'll give them that, are like very much saying like the kiss was awful, and that was the fucking point. It was the worst kiss, and it was meant to be awful.
Yeah, the worst kiss, and that's what it needed.
Yeah. Um. Also,
I mean, yeah,
the
sometimes the thing being terrible is the point, and you have to be sort of, depending on what the thing is, if you're a professional, you have to be really good at what you're doing to be bad at what you're doing.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, I ended up watching Singing in the Rain, the movie, with a friend. And for those who are not familiar with the movie for one reason or another, it's a musical about a couple of actors and actresses and sort of people around that in sort of the transition period between silent film to talking film. And the antagonist of the movie is a silent film actress who's sort of gotten by in silent film because she's very, very pretty. Like, she looks good. But the moment she opens her mouth, it's just the thickest hick accent you have ever heard, really nasally. She just doesn't have a great personality. She can't really act, and she can't do like choreography type stuff. But since in silent film, a lot of the movement is sort of chopped between things and you don't hear her, she became this big star. But the and so in this, when they decide to do a talking film, it's like, right, well, not only does her voice sound bad, she's bad at enunciating, and the mic only picks up every other word. So we're going to dub over her voice with the leading lady, sort of the heroine we're supposed to be rooting for, who does have a pleasant voice and pleasant speaking voice. But behind the scenes, the gal who's playing our antagonist is actually a very skilled actor and singer. And in a lot of those scenes, that actually is her voice. So she's dubbing over the person whose character is dubbing over her character.
That's fun.
But like, she's such a good actress that she's able to make herself just sound entirely horrid to listen to.
Yeah. Also, another spoiler for it also happens in like the last episode of season 2. The semi-crack ship that I shipped in season 1 actually became canon.
I saw that.
I didn't realize that was a thing.
So funny.
I didn't realize that was the thing people were doing already, but
Because it was like a funny thing in season 1 of, oh, Beelzebub and Gabriel, and like, you know, same job but on different sides. That's kind of cute. And then here we are, and it was really cute, and I was fully invested in their relationship, even though, you know, didn't get like that much screen time together, because Gabriel, like, you know, Beelzebub was in hell most of the time. Gabriel was on Earth for most of the season, having lost his memories. But like a little montage and like the actors on screen together to have a cute scene, and I was fucking sold. I was like, yes, apparently this is what I always wanted from this thing I thought was kinda neat the first season.
people seem to be saying that, like, oh, you know, we always thought it would be this kind of like sort of vicious sort of like, oh, you know, I'm the good one, you're the evil one sort of relationship of like sort of mutual disdain but love or whatever. And apparently it's just really wholesome.
It's so cute. You have no. It's like very like sweet and cute and wholesome. Just like that came from like an agreement they made, and now Gabriel has like miracled a jukebox to play the song Beelzebub loves forever
Oh, that's what
because
that
he
is.
thought it would make them happy, and it did. And it was really cute. Just,
Yeah, that sort of stuff is always kind of funny. Very odd couple.
yeah, it was wild because also I'm not good at picking up clues, so I was fully blindsided by this, honestly. So it was just came kind of out of nowhere, but it was really cute and sweet, and I loved it. And they got their happy ending, and
Yeah.
then the husband's divorce. uh,
Gotta have that hook on for season 3.
oh yeah, absolutely. Um, which Neil Gaiman has thought out and like outlined and everything, but because the studios are not giving in to the strike, it can't be written yet for obvious reasons. Pay your damn writers is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Pay your writers, pay your actors,
Just pay your
pay the people who
employees.
make the thing. Yes.
Do not go out into public and say that your official plan is to wait until these people starve.
Yeah, like or like become homeless. Like, are you realizing that you sound evil?
It's
Because
like
I don't think you're realizing that you sound fucking evil.
full on Muppet villain sort
Yeah.
of.
Like, hey, have you watched like movies? Any movie, really?
No,
Have you read a book before? Because I don't think you have. Because
that's not their job. They don't do movies. They do numbers.
They don't do them very well.
no.
True.
Because, like, as far as, like, cost-benefit analysis stuff is concerned, if you're not making anything, you can't make money off of the things you're not making.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many films are made deliberately as tax write-offs. So sometimes they don't even want to do that.
Yeah. Even then, like, a film has to be made, you know?
True.
It has to be written and produced and
Has,
everything.
has to be written to
But
be
then
written off.
again,
But they can't do
it was
their
also
tax write-off.
a thing. So in grad school, I was in a class called, well, 2 classes focusing on what's called operations research, which mathematically is essentially looking at systems of linear inequalities or systems of nonlinear. And in the second part of it, we were looking at systems of nonlinear inequalities, some of which have discrete solutions. Chib, for your reference, discrete means it's like a whole integer number instead of like a decimal. So
Okay.
we start with the ones where decimal solutions are possible because those are easier, and then we move into discrete space, which is more realistic but harder to work with. And one of the things we talked about is optimization problems for scheduling problems. Turns out, if you use the number that's mathematically optimal, quote unquote, it's not viable because you're now giving people an infinite amount of work. And you can mathematically show that. But people keep doing that.
Yeah,
And this is an infinite amount of work even before you take into account that the model may not be accounting for things like someone has to take the day off work because their child has the chicken pox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, they're bad at numbers too.
Mm-hmm. Bad at numbers, bad at everything. Um. Uh. Anyway, these people should be forced to take ethics classes. I think everyone should be forced to take ethics classes at some point in their life. At least when you're
Yeah,
getting college education.
yeah. I've been of the opinion that all tech bros should be forced to take an ethics class at some point. Yes,
Yeah,
it should also extend to everyone else.
yeah.
Also, the jesters. We need the jesters.
Yes,
Oh
we
yeah,
also need
the jesters, yeah, for
also
sure.
tax the rich.
Also tax the rich. These are all plans. All demands in our strike, which is not actually a strike, but you know. Make everyone forced to do ethics classes. Give millionaires jesters. And tax the rich. And if those demands aren't met, then we get to the fourth thing, and that is eat the rich. So, you know, that becomes ethical then.
On Earth do
Well,
you draw a
speaking of
zero
rich
for?
people doing stuff stupid, in the long expanding list of Elon Musk is an idiot. Um,
What happened now?
The ever increasing.
so previously on Elon Musk is an idiot. One of the office buildings that Twitter uses. Note, this is a building that they do not own; they rent space in, which is pretty normal. Decided to take down the Twitter logo in the front because they're not Twitter anymore. They're rebranding to X. Except no one told the people who own the building, and no one told the city. So it's like, cool. You didn't get a permit to rope off this entire roadway for your crew to sit here and fiddle with your sign. And since you didn't tell the people who own the building, they called the police.
Oh yeah, and
Because they're
then
just
it
kind of like,
was
hey, there's a guy with
for
a
a
crane
while.
out here taking letters off the side. We don't know who they are. So they haven't fully taken down that sign yet, but they have added the X onto the building, onto the
Oh,
top of the building. Again, the building
think
that
what
they
you're
don't
about
own.
to say. That
And it's really bright and strobes, and it's
yeah.
right across from an apartment complex.
Oh god.
I don't think they got permission for that sign.
No.
You think?
Because it's like at a road across an apartment complex, and like saw a picture of someone, because it was like imagining like you'd live across this sign, and then someone like actually was like, I don't have to imagine. Here's a picture from my apartment, and it's just the fucking brightest X. Like, I can't imagine what it must be like in real life when the photo was already like giving me a headache. It's like,
Oh yeah, I've seen at least one recording of it, and they're not kidding. It's strobes.
yeah, that.
So he's gonna get in trouble for that one eventually, because that's not. There's a reason why we have rules about what kind of signage you can put and where.
Mm-hmm.
Because at one
Yeah.
point in time we didn't. and then it turned out that was a bad idea. And again, I must reiterate, this is not a building that he owns.
No. It's... Like, how do you find, like, a new way to fuck up every single day?
By having a lot of money and no
That wasn't
sense.
necessary of you.
And
But you have
not
my
having a
thanks.
jester.
Hi, Doc. Thank you for subscribing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Dr. Savior.
Welcome to you too.
What happened?
Locked.
The locked command,
Oh.
but it was Jack going, ah, shit.
Good.
The locked command either has the best timing or the worst timing, which then wraps around and makes it the best timing because of how bad the timing is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you started watching, didn't you?
Yay. I think we're largely over talking about
Yeah.
spoilers, so.
You missed the spoilers, so it's
Hooray.
fine. You're in for a ride.
I also haven't seen it, so I can't. Well,
You
Tumblr spoiled.
found Cuthbert in Remnants.
What? This isn't good news.
Now, is this bad news for Cuthbert or is this bad news for Remnant?
This is bad news
Bad
for everyone.
news for Remnants.
Well then. Guess which biome? Bloodborne?
I hope it's
The
the
legal
Bloodborne
district of
biome.
Bloodborne?
I can't even remember what biomes. Yes, okay.
Good.
Legally distinct Bloodborne has legally distinct Cuthbert.
They stole him from you.
It's my intellectual property, how dare. Anyway, I'm glad you recognised them, because I don't know how to draw these two.
You draw them very good, though. Clearly, you've been forced to draw them often enough.
The Bloodborne got there and he thought, am I an Elden Ring? Huh? Elden Bring.
Blelden Bring.
Elden Bring.
Who is Blelden? I don't know, but he bring.
I was drinking. How dare you?
Well, now you're not.
I couldn't help but you laugh over that. That's on you.
How can I
It
not
was a
laugh
bad
at but he
joke.
bring?
But he bring.
Impossible not to laugh at that. Is the Soulsborne biome. Nice.
Soulsborne biome.
And then you have the Matrix / Armored Core biome. It's neat. And one day we'll see it.
One day.
One day. And see Cuthbert in it.
I can't wait to meet Cuthbert.
Can't wait for that. You can kill NPCs, right?
Probably. I mean, that's assuming he's an NPC and not like an enemy.
Oh, true. Good point. Very good point. Right, that was the one idea I had to draw. What now?
I haven't drawn anything since the cat crying on the floor, so.
The fluff is
Just
multiplying.
been drawing puffballs. So.
Puffballs!
Puffball.
They're good.
It's not gonna be a drawing heavy stream for me.
No
And
worries.
also a talking incoherently stream. Apparently.
That's fine. That's all my streams. So.
I can speak. That's the end of that sentence.
Anime Alien Hellpoint Zone.
That's okay.
I'm with
What
you
kind
on
of
the
anime?
yeah. I was gonna say I'm with you on the Alien Hellpoint bit. It's the anime that's throwing me.
Yeah.
Like what anime are we talking about here, Dark? Are we talking like One Piece? Or are we talking like generic fantasy isekai with
My
name
first thought
McPerson
was
Man?
like huge shoujo anime.
Or in High School Host.
Yes.
Are we talking Sailor Moon, which has more
How do I
eldritch
know that?
horrors in it than you'd expect from something
Are
that's
the
covered in
enemies
sparkles?
wearing schoolgirl uniforms?
Alien in schoolgirl uniform. That probably already exists on the internet, and I'm not looking it up.
Nope. I wouldn't be looking it up either.
I know there is on Steam a Cthulhu-themed dating sim.
Yee.
Of course there is.
So
Got you thinking how he accidentally kept killing gods in Hellpoint and how quickly. Yeah, you can kill gods quite. Well, you can kill gods quite quickly, apparently. Just bloody obliterating bosses that I spent hours on. How dare you? Very clean robot design. Escaflowne? Escaflowne.
oh, Escaflowne. Okay. That matches better with the other two than some other animes out there.
Yes,
Escaflowne, well, it's
looks like
funny I
every
mentioned
anime.
isekais earlier. Escaflowne is technically an isekai, but it's not sort of the modern idea of isekai, where it's generic man with generic skills goes into a fantasy
Hell
world and is
magic
now
goes
just the
pew
hottest shit
pew.
around. It's about a depressed girl who gets yeeted into a magical world and meets a guy with wings who also pilots a mech and helps save the kingdom.
Classic.
No, that is not an exaggeration, but I am leaving out a few points.
I looked up Iscaflowne or whatever it is, and it looks like every 90s anime I've ever seen. So, good job.
Yeah, the drawing style is very 90s. Story-wise, I don't know. I think story-wise it fits better in with some things that I've seen out of the 80s, but it's some of those things are sort of more blobby. But yeah, she's got magic powers, he's got angel wings and a mech. Like, just from the random descriptions of it, it sounds very much like something that I would have written in middle school. With just, let's add cool bits to this. I enjoyed it when I watched it, but also that was a while ago, and I'm sure it has aged. Whether it has aged well or not, I couldn't tell you, but it has definitely aged.
Well, I mean, that's
And I
also
think there's
true
also
of
a
me.
cat girl in it. Also, I think that one had like there
I
was a
miss.
there was a
I miss.
show and then like a movie with a similar but condensed plot.
She's
Hi,
the thing,
Miss.
not too annoying. That's rude to say about Miss. Hi, Miss. How you doing? This is
How's your
communicating.
feelings going? Are they also not okay? Yeah, not okay after the divorce.
There will be spoilers as given in title of stream.
Crowley is a menace, and I love Crowley a lot. Crowley.
Honestly, from what I've seen, Aziraphale's also a menace, but a smiley one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shenanigans happen because Aziraphale's excited
Honestly,
about something.
arguably, Aziraphale is more of a menace.
I think, God, and I don't remember the exact description of it, but someone basically said that Crowley is the most angelic demon and Aziraphale is the most demonic angel.
Yeah.
They're both very good and very bad at their jobs simultaneously, and in weird ways.
Mm-hmm.
No spoilers. Okie doke. Aziraphale's me if I were an angel. I mean, maybe. I can't think of a counterexample.
And I mean, a little bit.
All that thought.
I think Aziraphale is a little bit more into causing shenanigans than you
Yeah,
are
that's
in
fair.
real life. But yeah,
I'll
I
stick with
can
the
see
bookshop.
it. I mean,
He takes
if you
delight in his
could,
worldly pleasures, which is one of the reasons why he decided, hey, maybe we shouldn't have the apocalypse after all.
yeah. Like, you know,
But if
what
we
if we
destroy the
swap
world?
the apocalypse for pasta? That's something Chris would do.
Yes, if you want to convince me not for the apocalypse not to happen, pasta's a good way.
Can't have pasta anymore.
Yeah. Don't worry about, don't try and use bark or anything like that. Just pasta.
Yeah. Also, like, if you could, like, run a shop, like, I don't know if a bookshop specifically, because I don't know how much you like books, but, you know, if you could run a shop and not sell anything and just have it be a shop where people come in and just hang and then leave,
Yeah, that
you
sounds great.
probably would do that if you could never get in trouble for it. Then you know, that's
Yeah.
just your life now. If you just have a shop and nothing ever gets sold, then you would do that.
Yeah. Pretty spot on. Give me as a Aziraphale. Yee. I was an
So
Aziraphale.
who's your Crowley?
All of you?
All of us.
I literally
Well, I
in
saw
my
blue,
brain
so
went.
my immediate the picture has blue hair, and so my brain immediately went to Mal, but I don't know if that's who that's supposed to be.
I
That
think it
might
was
be
Try, wasn't it?
Try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Try.
But yeah, when you asked that, my brain went, "Oh, Jeeb. No wait, Miss. No wait, Dark. No wait."
We're all your counter.
I mean, there is a
An
demon by the
amalgamate.
name of Legion who's many demons in a trench coat, so...
Yeah, yeah.
It's all
Her
of
name,
us.
her name is Legion, for we are many.
Chris, I sit here and enthusiastically wait to see who it is you are magical girling here.
I'm curious and a little bit scared.
Oh.
Look, it was
Oh, I think I know
mentioned.
who this is.
Wait.
Anime magical girls things were mentioned in the same breath as Cuthbert. So
I mean,
I
not
blame Dark.
really in the same breath.
Pretty sure they were mentioned in different comments.
Yeah. Don't think they were said in the same breath as all.
You can't blame any of us on that. This is a you.
No, I'm
This is
pretty certain
you.
this is someone else's fault.
See, and this is why you're a Xerophil. Cuthbert does multiclassing as a magical girl. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, Cuthbert has disguised self.
Yeah. He
So
can
this
be
is
a magical
possible.
girl.
This is absolutely possible.
And there are at least a couple of magical girl shows out these days where there are magical boys too, so.
Yeah, the problem is that Cuthbert isn't from this time.
No.
How many magical girls were there around in the Tudor era?
Don't know that much about the magical girl Tudor times.
I mean, you say that.
It's probably an anime.
But I know enough about, like, Catholic folk mythology to know that shit gets weird.
I mean, this is going to be blasphemous. Could you consider the Virgin Mary a magical
Was there a transformation? I think you need a transformation.
I'm going to say no, but only because I don't think she actually did any miracles.
Yeah.
Miracle happened to her.
Right.
There are, however, many saints who are women who did miracles.
That's true.
Including, I think, at least one who chopped off her own boobs. Because, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Jeebus. Jeebus is
a magical girl.
I mean...
Yeah. I mean, there is the argument that Jesus is trans. So Jesus is a trans magical girl.
And that's Chib straight to hell for religious anime crimes.
Not anime crimes. I'm going to hell for this.
You're already in hell.
Look, religious anime crimes already exist. Saint Young Men is a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Who, what now?
Saint Young Men. It's a slice of life anime about Jesus and Buddha living in Japan.
Oh.
Like actual Jesus and actual Buddha.
Yeah, and they go to a bathhouse. That's the only scene I know.
There's a lot of funny things that pop up, including...
Well, like modern.
And some of them are things where it's just kind of like, I don't know enough about the author of it to know how well they understand the theology here. But one of the jokes that comes up is that Jesus is not aware that December 21st is a celebration of his birthday.
Mm.
He thinks it's a celebration of when Santa Claus managed to get reindeer powered flight.
Naturally.
Naturally. Well, unnaturally.
Which is funny because historically, Christmas is where we celebrate the birth of Christ, but historically that's not when he would have actually been born. If you look at the events around it, he was probably born somewhere like April-ish, maybe. But you got to schedule your feast days somewhere, and
everyone's already having one.
Yeah, well, it basically, so pre-Christianity, Rome was very much you can keep your religious stuff, but we're going to amalgamate things together. That was one of the things that got the Jewish community sort of in trouble at first, because they're like, we're not going to send prayers up to your Caesar we're not going to add your leader as an additional god to our gods. We have one god and he will take offense to that. And the compromise was like, okay, well, can you at least like send offerings up to your god for his health, then the Jewish community was kind of like, okay, fine, sure, whatever. So the Roman Empire already had this idea of like, you can keep your culture aspects, but we're mixing things together. So when it became we're now a Christian empire, basically what happened is all of the various pagans in the various areas went, but we like these feast holidays, and so the church is basically like, okay, well, this feast holiday is now also celebrating the birth of Christ. There we go.
Sorted.
Sorted. There we go. You can keep your trees and your old man pulling sleigh who may or may not have been Odin. But we're also celebrating Christ's birth. So yeah, Jesus has no idea what December 25th was about. And yes, the bathhouse scene is also very funny, because basically Jesus says a bunch of things where it's like technically true, but if you don't know what he's talking about, it sounds weird. And it turns out the guys that were in the bathhouse with them and being like mildly menacing were Yakuza. And based off of what Jesus said, all of them come to the conclusion that he is also Yakuza and the son of a very important Yakuza head.
Yeah, I can see how that would happen.
Yeah.
He's definitely the son of someone important. So I can see the mix-up. Oh, the shenanigans.
The shenanigans. Also, Miss says the entire costume is made of skin for Cuthbert.
Oh yeah.
And I don't like that. Can you not say that?
Okay, I won't say that.
Good.
I mean, it's not in fully rendered colors, so we could just pretend that the costume is something else.
Exactly.
Like muscle.
No. Like clothes. Just clothes. Clothes would be nice.
I'm not even sure if you could really use muscle to make a fabric-y type thing.
I don't
I
really want
don't
to
wanna
try.
think about it.
Yeah, I don't want to either.
Ask Goobs,
But
they
just
won't know.
like,
If any one of us is going to know it, it'll be you.
like I suppose you could use tendons as a sort of, because we in the past as humans have used tendons as sort of a thread thing to sew things together, but that's only some of them.
See, the issue with Cuthbert's ability to transform is that it's not a particularly strong illusion. So the sound of bells is still going to be the sound of bells. So whatever his disguise is has to have bells on it. It's a
This
limitation.
transformation, but like the bells like are to like the Sailor Moon intro. Just constantly. Oh right, Cuthbert has facial hair.
He's got a goatee. Which is really awkward to draw with a Richter's grin.
Yeah. I can imagine.
I still haven't drawn him with, like, normally.
Yeah. I
I
mean
will
you
do it
don't have to.
He has a normal face under there.
What?
Yeah. He's actually human.
How dare you?
I mean, does anyone want to see what his face looks like?
No.
Maybe.
Eyes
That
and
he has.
ears.
You're assuming a lot there, miss. Could have like lost his eyes during.
Assuming Cuthbert would have done anything in which he might have lost his eyes.
I mean, I was gonna say a disease, and then I forgot that I don't know any names of diseases in English. Like any of the serious diseases of that time. Um,
Me neither.
Tetanus. He lost his eyes to tetanus. Don't ask how.
Can you lose eyes to tetanus?
I don't know.
I mean, you usually get. I'm not going down that train of thought. That's horrible. You're welcome, everybody. I did not finish that thought.
Good. Could
No, I
make Cuthbert
don't.
lose all his hope, then you'd see his real face.
Yes, that is
Right.
apparently a thing. The less hope you have, the more you look like you're supposed to. Or the more you look like your worldly form. Hope is the sort of enduring life force in hell. You lose that, you're done.
I like how you've put bells on literally everything.
You have to. You have to.
It's his
Non-negotiable. He hates it.
You know, maybe give Miss a palate cleanser and move the camera up a bit to look at cats.
Cats!
Okay.
Look at the family of floofballs.
Floofs.
Floofs.
Look at them.
Sootballs. They're cute. You pick them out of the tumble dryer. Then they scuttle off.
Scuttle,
Make
scuttle,
sure you
scuttle.
clear them out of your dryer when you do the laundry.
Yeah. They don't get hurt, but they do get dizzy. I like how this canvas is couple of good omens doodles, magical Cuthbert taking up most of the space, a few little roof walls, and then just in this corner.
Listen, I haven't drawn anything, okay?
Now this is Jeebs. Oh, there we go. I framed it appropriately. Jeeb's summary of recent experiences.
I mean, no one made you
Disagrees.
make Cuthbert that big.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. It just happened. Yeah, I wanted to do this Crowley Aziraphale thing for ages because I thought, people on Tumblr will like that, right? The Doctor Who Good Omens thing.
Oh, it's a reference.
It's a reference.
Yeah, they will probably like it.
But then I never did.
I know I don't know the Doctor Who's that well, so I didn't catch it, but people love to compare David Tennant with David Tennant.
I'm trying to find a good reference of the thing I'm talking about. It's a good scene.
It's very funny, and as far as I'm aware, a good chunk of it was improvised, which makes it funnier.
And anyway, to come back to something you said way earlier for Dark, you're enjoying Bunkers and Badass? Reading through it, at least.
Bunkers and Bedessers. Therapy. Love Donna. Donna's good. Donna made me go from not liking Catherine Tate because I didn't find her comedy funny to really liking her because she's very good as Donna. That's how you know you got a good character, when I can turn around on the actor.
I mean, that's fair. I haven't seen all of her comedy. I've seen like 3 things she's been in. Doctor Who, where she was amazing.
Yep.
Much Ado About Nothing, I think, was the play. I might be mixing up my Shakespeare. She was in a Shakespearean play also with David Tennant, where it was also really funny. And then I've seen a sketch short with her and Tennant in it, set in like a schoolhouse thing where one of the major jokes has to do with their accents. That one didn't land for me.
Yeah, that was
And
probably
it
in
might
reference.
just be because I'm not familiar with what they're making jokes about.
Yeah, that might be in reference to the sketch show that she did, which I didn't like. That was how she became famous in Britain. She did a sketch show. I didn't really click with it. But that's fine. That's sketch shows, whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't click with
Well-
it, and I was a teenager, which meant that I hated it.
Yeah, of course.
So
Hated it with passion.
exactly.
I mean, that might be
idiot
what
if you
it's
like
from,
this.
I guess. Like I said, I've only seen that one. If it is, then I've only seen that one sketch from it, and I didn't find it that particularly funny. But while watching it, it was like, I have a feeling there's some culture jokes here that I just don't understand, because I guess accents are a bigger thing that people notice and point out in the UK.
Yeah. Accents are a big thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like humor that's based around accents is flies straight over my head. Doesn't matter
That's fair.
like which because it's a thing in Britain. It's also just whatever other accent. Like I don't know fucking accents unless they're like really, really obvious. I'm like because you know, I'm not natively English. I don't know this shit.
I mean, it's when I'm talking about learning Dutch and stuff like that, you're pointing out like, oh yeah, these different parts of the Netherlands say these sort of sounds in different ways.
Yeah. Like yeah, and even in the Netherlands I won't like completely know where people are from depending like based on their accent because I'm not that good with it. I know some things. I know the most obvious things. I don't know the like delicacies of it.
Delicacies.
Yum. What a delicious accent you have.
I yeah, I won't know like the nuances. I just will know something. So for like other countries, it's completely impossible unless they have been actively taught to me, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I have a difficulty with like American accents and things like that, being able to distinguish. Should say again, nub nub. I don't live in America. I haven't been to America. I just hear, grass, etc. That's how that to me. That's like okay, American, got it, sorted, done. Can't tell the difference between American and Canadian accents. It's just all the same.
Yeah.
And it's to do with proximity. Whereas, we can there is there's a town near where I live that has a bit of a reputation for keeping itself to itself, and if you're born there, chances are you would just stay there. And as a consequence, it's kind of got its own slight variation of the accent around here, so you can tell when someone's from that town.
Mm-hmm. I
It's
mean,
all
yeah.
it's all what you're familiar with, you know.
Yeah, I do know
Strings.
what you mean a little
Like-
bit with that, because we do have many, many dialects in Dutch as well. And um some of those dialects could actually be considered different languages, but they haven't been because reasons. Um but yeah, there is like a smaller city near where I live, or at least not that far from here, where my mother grew up, and that's very much like has its own version of the dialect that's so different that people will like know immediately, like, yes, you're from this you're from this city. I know. Which is very fun.
Hey, Christy. It's a crispy drawing stream, kind of, sort of. Some drawing is happening.
Miss
That's not
wants
working.
those cats as a tattoo.
Yay.
Nice.
Yeah,
But
we're
I
just
bet-
sort of free drawing if you want to hop in, Christy.
Yeah.
I better draw them better than that.
And that sounds like fun, Dark. Many different worlds.
Like Remnant.
Many different Borderlands worlds. And if it's it's a reference to Remnant, then at least I get to play Remnant that way.
One
Can't
day.
wait to play Soulsborne Borderlands.
Soulsborne.
Can't wait to go to the Borderlands planet that is
I
Soulsborne
think
themed.
the link ended up in the arts and crafts.
Oh, did I put that in the
Yes,
wrong
it
place?
did.
Whoops!
Yeah, you did.
Whoops!
You messed up.
I messed up. There you go. It's there now, and I'm gonna delete it from where it was.
No.
No. Organization. Haha. And now, if you go into the arts and crafts thing, you're more likely to see the cute Aziraphale. So everyone wins.
Yeah.
Also, Miss, you get very good at Chibis.
This is getting so good at Jeeves.
Yay.
So good. They're so cute.
Be muted because you can barely hear your father. Noise here. Oh no. No worries. Come hang. You're doing good, Miss. That was you thinking you might not be able to do it. No. Nonsense. I have chibis on my October style thing, but I also have chibi on there as well. So I feel like I need to work out a way of differentiating between the two when it comes up.
Chibi
I
chibi.
mean, rename Chibi's one Cheeb,
Cheap.
Chib,
or
maybe?
or write out the whole ChibiNetherlands.
The whole of the ChibiNetherlands. With the
Use
chibi
the
windmills.
full name.
My full legal name.
Chib Netherlands.
Jeffrey Cheap. Oh no, what have I done?
Yeah, I was going to call you when I'm mad. I don't know what to draw. What am I going to draw? I had one idea, and the magical Cuthbert's bigger than that idea, so let's fix that. Chibi, have you seen my daughter Netherlands? Yes.
Chibi. What did I do? Stop it.
It's when you're in serious trouble. Call it the Netherlands style, then forget what that means. Tall and wearing clogs.
I mean, I'm sure there are some traditional Netherlands art styles, but most of the ones I can think of off the top of my head are like fiber arts related things.
Maybe.
Uh,
I
I
mean,
don't know if you want to like sew something.
I mean,
as part of your-
technically, the one which I like the plates I shared of from the museum with like the portraits on that were really funny. Technically, because it is a Dutch thing, Delftsblauw, which is that specific type of
oh, is it?
plating and such with the blue.
I didn't know that.
It's made in Delft, which is a city in the Netherlands.
I didn't know that either. We're learning things today. The Dutch invented plates.
And we didn't invent plates.
And the colour
But
blue,
it is
which is why the ancient Greeks didn't have it.
what other things can I think of that really no. Oh, mm,
I was
like,
trying to
I'm
think of
trying to think of like comics I've read and stuff, but the problem with those is that like most of the like comics I've read in my childhood aren't like Netherlands Dutch, they're Belgian Dutch, but because like I live very close to the border, it's all just a little bit like mixed in my head.
This is, I was going to say, sort of one of the issues with saying like what's a traditional sort of art thing is that quite a lot of places, Britain, Netherlands, etc., have at various times in the past changed hands, and borders and all sorts of bits and pieces. So the culture is a bit mixed up.
Yeah.
So it, cultural melting pot and all that.
Also, there's a lot of things we use to make art these days that just didn't exist a while ago, which is why it's easier to identify cultural folk art with like pattern type things than like drawing things.
I mean, one of the first things I could think of is like children's books I grew up with, I guess. I could share like pictures from those. I guess those are like Dutch, but
Show us your traditional Dutch artworks.
um
Draw us like one of your Dutch girls.
God, I'm not putting that on the list. Bloody Dutch masters. Don't have that much time. Maybe next year I'll do all of the characters in one big, like, Dutch master scene. And then
All in
die.
different styles.
Ooh, that's kind of cute.
That is really neat.
It's Jip and Janneke. Like just little children's stories about two children doing little things that children would do.
No. Now, I choose to believe that they are shadow people. Coming from another dimension.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts lore.
Chris, are you making another country's children's stories into creepypastas?
They come from the Netherlands.
I mean, if you say it like that.
They don't come from the nether.
Oh, boo. I still can't think of anything to draw. This is
They're all
the I have.
abstract cats. I don't know.
There's a trongle. 2 other trongles. Done. Abstract cat.
That also looks like it could be someone's signature. Especially with the tail looking like an S.
Everyone turn your signature into a cat.
A picture of a cat can legally be your signature. It just
They
has
can-
to be the same cat each time.
Well, how do you get into that kind of predicament?
Who knows?
Look, Van de Petterflet.
Yeah. I really liked that book as a child. My grandmother had it, so every time I would sleep over at my grandmother's, she'd read it to me.
No. I'll put that on the list. Draw a character from Good Omens Season 1 that isn't the husband's.
You're expecting Chris to know that there's other people in season 1. of Good Omens.
No. John Hamm's in that one as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can draw Gabriel and Beelzebub.
Go Brie Gabriel. Thank you for giving me the name. I'm gonna need to Google more than Gabriel, aren't I?
Yes, considering how many IPs are out there that have a character named Gabriel. Although interestingly, Gabriel is one of the characters that was added to the TV show. They're not in the book.
So I just wondered what's the first thing you get when you Google Gabriel, and the first thing is Gabriel the angel, from like the Wikipedia page, like a picture, and then the second is a footballer who is called Gabriel. And then I think it's like all sports people from there, basically. But sometimes a picture of biblical Gabriel.
I'm getting pictures of Derek Jacobi. Is he in the new one? He's not Gabriel, is he?
Who?
Derek Jacobi.
Who is Derek Jacobi?
He's Derek Jacobi.
I don't know.
Oh
no, he's the Metatron. He's the voice of God.
Oh, nice. Good for him.
The entire cast is the same except for Beelzebub. So does that mean Adam is also in season 2? Because that poses some interesting questions.
And no. Adam is not in season 2.
Oh, do you mean that like all the actors are the same for the characters? The ones that are returning have the same actors, except.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Except for Beelzebub, which, they play off really neatly by just, saying, "Oh, I have a new face. I got rid of it. I got tired of it after 6,000 years of looking the same."
They can change their appearance. That's fine. That's not an issue.
I got tired of my face.
I
love Inspector Constable. Yep. Inspector Constable is great. I love Inspector Constable.
Although that does, mentioning Beelzebub switching actors does sort of remind me of, like, in my opinion, one of the funniest ways of doing an actress switch. So, Power Rangers. The majority of most of the Power Rangers franchise is making use of film footage from the Japanese Super Sentai show. And that includes a lot of the villains. And so in the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, all of the scenes you had of Rita Repulsa were from the original Japanese. But for some reason, and they sort of stopped doing this once they moved on from that, they went, right, we're going to continue on Mighty Morphin stuff using footage from other Super Sentai shows. But also in this particular season, we'd like to also have Rita Repulsa again, along with a entirely constructed for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, not present in Super Sentai, Lord Zed. Obviously, it's a little hard to have Lord Zed interact with the villain who is only present in Super Sentai. So they went, right, how are we going to... Because it's going to be very obvious if we put another actress in this costume. What are we going to do? We're going to give her a makeover. So she's literally going through this beautification makeover, and at the end, it's like, oh, it's new face, new me, new evil me, and it's the new actress.
That is a very
So-
funny question, Chris. Sorry.
It's got a square face. Sorry, continue with your.
Now we know who has to play James. Some guy of Final Fantasy IX never gets made into a movie.
It would fit perfectly. Sorry, carry on. I interrupted.
No, I mean, there's not much more to add to that, except for the context in the show. Because, like, Rita Repulsa is the enemy for the season where we're pretty much using Super Sentai footage. And then in the next season, it's like, okay, we've got Lord Zed as the main enemy. He's the newly completely deconstructed. And then in the season after that, we have both of them, because Rita Repulsa is trying to get back into power and thus has decided to use her evil wiles and magic to make Lord Zed fall in love with her, and they get married. So she's going through a beautification process so she can become more enticing to Lord Zed so that she can use magic to make him fall in love with her. And then it turns out, actually, no, he actually did fall in love with her, and then they just become the worst power couple.
Yay! Good for them.
And I mean, I'd say you can distinguish the two by having him wear a suit, but James's armor doesn't exactly look like true armor anyway.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to make James's helmet look not like it's made of fabric when I'm drawing in the draw through. It's supposed to be metal. I got recommended on YouTube a trailer for a new film with John Hamm in it. I assume it's a new film. I didn't check the date. Where
A
he's
film
playing
that's
like
new to you, though, that's not saying much.
Yeah, it's from 1984. No, it's. Let's see if I can. Called like the side room or something. Side office. Blah, 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 blah. Probably find out it came about 7 years ago.
I'm gonna look through his IMDb, don't worry.
It's not on Wikipedia yet, so maybe it's actually coming out.
Well, then it would be. Let's see.
Oh
I
no,
mean, for upcoming projects, there isn't anything
no,
aside.
it was last year. It's called Corner Office.
Ah, okay.
And just seeing a picture of him in it, it's this weird, psychological thing, I suppose, about this guy. Look at him.
Oh, he looks a little bit different.
There's 4 pictures on IMDb, and none of them are good.
I do find it funny that Wikipedia has got projects that have not been released yet marked, but the mark they decided to use was the cross, which makes it look like, oh, these are things that were released after death, which is also a thing they sometimes mark.
Yeah, this looks very different.
It does, yeah. But yeah, I just got recommended it. And just
Facial
look,
hair really changes what a face looks like.
Yeah, it really does. Also, glasses. Glasses also do that, so.
And he's got like the hair coming down on his face rather than swept back like usual. It's just a whole thing.
Entirely different man.
Mean Girls the musical. Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm confused and intrigued.
Although, actually, since that's in their movie things, that means this would be Mean Girls the musical, the movie.
Yeah.
Because Mean Girls is a movie, and there is a stage musical made of Mean Girls.
Yeah.
And now, according to his list, there's at least plans, because it does say it to be announced, to film the musical version into a movie.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say, really.
I have complicated feelings about the trend of like turning musicals into movies. Because I don't think they ever do it right.
I was gonna say, well, I thought you loved them.
The ones that I have seen that I go, yes, this works, are mainly ones where it's not based off of a stage play. They just made a musical movie.
Yeah.
To start with.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah, that's different. Like, there's different pacing things that you're taking into account.
But like for the like stage musicals that get turned into a movie, I don't think they ever really work. Period. But then again, I'm very much someone who I just think that stage production should be filmed and released as movies.
Yeah.
That's how I watched my musicals growing up. Because the Belgian studio that I watched musicals from did that. They like recorded the stage version and they released that as a DVD. And that's how I got to watch them.
That was my first exposure to the Into the Woods musical. Was a official recording of a stage production of it. And that recording is definitely better than the movie they eventually made. Though there are some individual scenes in the movie where it's like, yeah, that works, but as a whole, it's like, nah.
I have a lot of opinions on the movie version of Into the Woods for someone who has never watched it and is not planning on watching it. I just know too much about what they did wrong. Though I do like a scene where the princes are being very dramatic at like the top of a waterfall or something, or like a river, and it's very like dramatic, and you know, it's very much in character then. I do like that as a visual.
Yeah.
There we are.
And I mean,
Chib
granted,
likes the film.
there are some things in
No.
movies that you can't do on stage, but also vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Like the bit with the narrator.
yeah.
Yeah, how
Like,
does that work in the film?
I
I think they just delete him from the film. I don't
Yeah.
think the narrator is in the film.
No, not
but-
as a character.
Oh.
Which frustrates me more than if there hadn't been like a narrator at all. But like there is a narrator at the beginning when they like start the first song, and it does like the narrating bits, and then it just like as movie narration like goes, it fades out and stops existing. Which like mhm. Like I
Because the
feel like
narrator is used as a very distinct. The tone has changed between Act 1, Act 2 in
Yeah.
the play. I guess we should ask Chris. Do you know what's going on with the Into the Woods stage play and why the narrator is sort of a key component
do.
there, and or do you care?
I do. We did Chib do a draw through of it?
I didn't do the draw through of it, but I did like explain the entire plot one stream, I think.
Yeah, so I'm aware of the unfortunate fate of the narrator.
Yes. Which then sets the scene for what happens in Act 2, because now the narrator is gone because we literally killed him.
Yeah. And I just feel
Death of
like
the narrator, literally.
yeah. I just like I think like either you then like for a movie like you don't use the narrator like at all, like there's no narrator, or you just like there's ways you can make that work, I think,
Yeah.
and still have it be like in tone. Like
I think most of
it
the time with
feels weird to
movies,
say, but it makes sense in my head, and that's like this is gonna sound strange, but Monty Python would have been able to make it work.
Yes. It is a very Python-esque bit.
Of like just like you have to like lean into it, and I don't think the movie does that enough period to pull that off, but I think like in a different movie would have been able to work, of just like suddenly there's just like a guy in like a booth narrating the movie, and the characters just like burst in. Like it's a very like Monty Python like bit.
Yeah,
I
like
think
I mean,
Gallivant would have also been able to make it work. But Gallivant, I think, is too silly for the tone of the second half of the play.
Hmm.
But also Gallivant's humor is also likened to Monty Python stuff, so
Yeah, like I mean, like I don't think like because it is still like a very silly thing to happen in the play. It's just that it also is serious and sets the tone. It's like both at the same time. Because it is still very silly that, like, well, the narrator is a character, and suddenly it's been a character this entire time, and now, well, it's been a person this entire time that's literally narrating on the stage. But now the characters actually acknowledge him and are pulling him literally into the story. Like, that's a silly thing to happen, and you can make it silly. It's just yeah, they could have made it work, but not for the movie. For the movie, they could for this movie that they made, they couldn't have made it work.
I okay. Extension for a film, right?
Mhm.
You have the narrator and you do all that, and everything's sort of set up as very sort of like filmy and all that sort of stuff. And then you have the rebellion against the narrator. But you also have a rebellion against the camera.
Oh,
Sort of like, what are
yeah,
you,
like
stop filming us or whatever. And then the rest of the film is filmed like shaky cam from a distance, hiding from the cast. And it makes
yeah.
it much more unsettling. Like the tone shifts because you can't do it in a close-up filmy sort of way anymore.
No, you suddenly have to like
That also sounds like
view it
something you would
as
do
like
in a Monty Python bit.
yeah.
See, that gives you an excuse for a tone shift as well. So
Yeah, like it feels like suddenly like if you do it in a movie, like it'd be suddenly a bit more like horror-y. Because like if
yeah.
you have to like address the narrator, then it's also addressing like the crew that's there. um which could be really like fun. You can make that really fun.
See, ideas,
I
um
they're
think
fun.
I think Holy Grail technically did that because and I didn't realize this the first time I watched Holy Grail. I had to watch it a second time to understand what was going on. Um, they do randomly kill off a narrator, and then there's a police investigation and they get arrested for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot
yeah.
the film ends with them getting arrested.
hmm
Yeah, see, Mrs. got it, Blair Witch. The film just turns into Blair Witch.
hmm Yeah, like suddenly like you make it like very like horror-y almost like yeah, like hand cam and like handheld camera and all that stuff. That would make it really fun and like still fit with like the musical, just like actually adapted into like how it would work for a movie. Um,
Yeah, I feel like there's more to adapting a musical for a movie than just making a movie.
yeah.
There's also thinking about how would these things work best in this format, not just going what works well in films. Like
Mhm.
be a bit more specific than that. Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
animator has a
it's
heart attack. That happens as well in Holy Grail.
oh yay, you're drawing Inspector Constable.
Inspector
Yay.
Constable. I think I've seen pictures of.
You might have seen pictures of Inspector Constable. Um, but yeah, I do feel like that's the problem with like a lot of like um stage 2 movie adaptation because you really have to like yeah, you God, my brain just fully shut off there for a second. And you have to keep that in mind when you're making it. Of just like this is a different format, so things will have to work differently. And I don't most like plays adapted into musicals don't get that right, and some actual movie musicals that were made for movie don't even get that right. Like they don't get the rules of their own like specific genre. I don't know, right? you know, because a movie musical also like different rules apply to movie musicals as do to like normal, you know, to like other movies. Because most more other movies don't have, singing and dancing and it like not being acknowledged in universe.
Or it's Enchanted, in which case it is acknowledged in the universe by the handful of normal people going, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah, and then it works for the context.
It's good to have a
Yes,
Rosencrantz and
because
a
our
Guildenstern.
princess is literally from a magical animated world and has now fallen into New York.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything, so continue talking.
I mean, it's one of the things that frustrates me when I've seen with some like movie musicals where um where they try to do like the cheeky thing of like, oh, isn't this so weird and like strange that people are suddenly like dancing and singing and like, why are you doing this, blah 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 blah. And usually it doesn't work unless it's like enchanted or something where it's like, you know, depends on the context. But for most it like doesn't work because they're trying to like point out like the flaws of their like own medium and then like
Yeah, the ones that are like,
you
"Oh, isn't this so silly and stupid?" It's like, okay, why are you making a musical then? In
yeah.
Enchanted, though, it works because the main character is just kind of like, "This is dumb. This is silly. I'm not into any of this fancy pantsy shenanigans," and that's seen as a character flaw that he gets over by the end.
Yeah. Like, yeah, for Enchanted, it absolutely works. For most other movie musicals, it doesn't work because it's like, okay, so you as the filmmaker aren't taking this movie seriously, so why should the audience be taking any of this seriously? Like, why should we care if you clearly don't care? Like, that's very much the feeling that it gets them.
Yeah, you. I don't even know if I'd use the word "take it seriously" because then you have stuff like I said earlier, Gallivant, which is musical
Yeah,
fantasy, and it's a comedy, and it doesn't take anything seriously.
no, but that still is like within like I don't want to say the rules, but like the expectations you sign up for when you like watch
Yeah, like
something like that.
you you don't get the feeling that the writers feel like they're above this medium.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Because
And that
you,
doesn't come off in Enchanted either because like the one character who's pretending that they are above this magical prancy nonsense that's presented as a character flaw that he eventually gets over by the end of it.
hmm
But if everyone is presenting pretending that this is nonsense and that's not presented as a and you're wrong, then it's like a cool. Why are you making a musical then if you think that musicals are just fancy nonsense?
yeah, it's it always like leaves like a really icky feeling with you of just like, why are you doing this? Then you know, but yeah, that's, I don't know. It is like musicals and movie musicals or like musicals that are turned into movies and movie musicals is like a weird like I have complicated feelings about it as I said. It's because sometimes it works and it works really well and I love it, and sometimes it's really weird and you leave with the feeling that the people who made it like felt like they were better than it than making it, and it's just weird and uncomfortable. And sometimes they just didn't understand what they were making, as in the case of the Into the Woods adaptation. They just didn't understand the original source material and made something different and changed things that shouldn't have been changed. And not in like a purist type of way, but more as in like, okay, you changed this and now character motivations like have less meaning to them. And it's really bad for your overarching story and characters.
Yeah. Ooh. More face drawing from Chris.
Yes.
Which is
Miss...
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say Miss wanted to know what character this was, because I know the story of Good Omens. This is M's mum.
This is M's mum.
M's also in Good Omens. I don't know if I mentioned that.
You didn't. How nice. I now want you to draw M just in the background of Good Omens screenshot.
Would that be a fun stream? Just get like screenshots from a thing, and then we just draw things in the background.
Yeah, I think it'd be a funny stream.
Because I did that ages ago with the Outliers. Do I still have those? Probably not.
Miss says yes.
Yes.
I mean, that is a thing that people do for fun. I mean, I have seen many a draw pile with Barry and some of his friends where they just kind of take pictures and then turn it into nonsense.
Name redacted would be a hilarious mum for him. I mean, I just like Miranda Richardson. She's always good. But everything about M would make sense. What? M making sense? This doesn't sound right. I'm relatively pleased with my ability to cartoonify these faces and still make them recognized. Not too certain on John M, but
I think it works.
Tricky. His head is a rectangle.
I mean, sometimes men's faces are hard. There's different complications that come with women's and men's faces, I think. But it's like for men's faces, I really feel like the forehead and chin, basically. Like, what size do you make those? That's usually
only difference between all men is how big is your forehead, how big is your chin. Done.
I mean, you're joking, but like, like, I think you said it at one point of like every like when I try to draw like a man, I end up drawing Jacob from Drawfee.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That is true.
And that's it. Of like, a lot of white men are just variations of Jacob from Drawfee.
Yeah, I think that partially has to do with the fact that in the US, at least, there's like 3 haircuts if you're a Caucasian man.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
And also, you're not allowed to accessorize.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, cool. Like, I think the worst example of this is like, whatever Hollywood does things, and it's like, oh, cool, we're on the red carpet. Here's all of the big faces that were involved with this. And then there's just a line of white Caucasian men with brown hair with more or less the same haircut in a black suit and tie, black tie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, in theory, I know who some of you are, but you're making my face blindness just ramp up
Oh,
to
yeah.
11.
I.
And
It's one of.
there's like subsets of white women where you've got the same problem, though I would argue that there are more subsets of white women, which makes it a little easier. But there's
It's.
still like with the Karen haircut, it's like,
Yeah. The problem for me with like a lot of women's faces is like makeup trends nowadays, which make everything seem like really smooth and samey, you know?
yeah, there's that too.
Mm.
Which,
No-
especially with like actresses and stuff like that, it ends up like because makeup, it ends up like they're all like it's hard to make out like the actual shape of features.
But at least they're allowed to wear different outfits.
Yeah, true. Ah, thank you, miss.
Though I will say that's why I always sort of enjoy whenever there is a I see it mostly with black actors where they're like, right, black suit, black tie, nah, we're going maroon. We're going
Yeah,
purple. We're
Oh,
going
yeah.
bright blue.
I love that for them. Of just deciding to go wild.
Like
yeah.
there was one in particular that I remember where it's like
I
a cape with it, where it was like gold or white, I think, and then he just also had a cape with it, and it's just like, yes,
Capes.
yeah,
you.
bring
More
capes
capes.
back.
Yes.
But yeah, like it's certainly like getting like I feel like with actors and stuff like that in recent year, like I feel like we're finally kind of moving away from like at this point, I think at least like 100-year-old trend of just men in black suits.
Yeah. Been going on a while.
And I'm all for it. I think they could go wilder, and I encourage them to do so.
Remember, the
Men
further
go wild in your fashion, please, for the love of God.
the further you push now, when everything sort of snaps back to a normality, the further that sort of snapback will be from where you started. So, if you push to 700%, then we'll settle down at 500%, which is a lot. So, but if you only push to 200%, no, you're not going to get far. So everyone push real hard.
Yeah,
Not me though. I don't
the
go
only thing
anywhere.
I will say is that it is easier to reuse a black suit rather than buying a new one for each thing. But also, I'm sort of the opinion that it's like, why should people have to rebuy a fancy dress for each outing they go to?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Like
Yeah.
people, you can make it easy and have like people should be allowed to have like a kind of set wardrobe of like that's my suit, but it doesn't have to be the same as everyone else's suit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're allowed to
Yeah.
reuse an outfit. You should be allowed to reuse an outfit and have like a signature look, but it just doesn't have to be the same as everyone else's.
Yeah.
You know? And that
I
way you can
think,
make it
like-
easy for yourself because you don't have to think about it because you got it. But it's also a thing that's yours.
Mhm. I feel like signature looks would be accepted more if like things moved away from like the black suit and the black tie and
Yeah.
you know. Maybe I don't know.
The problem, from my perspective, the problem I've always had is going into a shop thinking I'm gonna get a nice suit, and your choices being black, 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 grey, black, black, grey, very dark blue, black, pink. And that's it. They're your choices.
Oh,
Yeah, that's I have the same. So I buy. So at work, I typically wear sort of like office clothes type thing. So like slacks, button-up shirt, and that sort of thing. I don't buy stuff in the women's department because the sizing of women's clothes is voodoo nonsense. Like the numbers don't make any sense, the words don't make any sense. It's not consistent across brands. Now, like some variation is sort of understandable because especially with machine-made clothing, you can't guarantee that everything in the lot was cut exactly the same. But this is to the point of absurdity. So the numbers don't mean anything, the words don't mean anything. The pants and the shorts don't have pockets, and the shirts all have sleeves that cut really close into your armpits, which I find aggravating and annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So I just buy most of my stuff in the men's department.
Yeah, I'm getting there as well.
However, comma,
It's been a process.
that means that all of my pants are grays, blacks, dark blues, and tan. And I have a single colored, shirt that isn't a shade of blue or black because for some reason pink is an acceptable shirt color.
Yeah. That's the one colour we're allowed.
Yeah. It is weird because I've never gone into a suit shop or whatever, but I do remember like walking past and then you see like, you know, the, the options behind the glass and it is just like that. It's like black. It's like gray, maybe a brown and like blue, like a dark navy blue probably. And either like pink or like disco ball just out of nowhere. Like the hottest pink or like just full disco ball for no goddamn reason. It's like
Yeah,
there's no in between there.
someone pointed out that so like one of the sort of stereotypical recently out trans man / butch lesbian styles is like the really bright Hawaiian shirt button ups, and it's like, no, you don't understand. If you want like interesting shirts, that's all you get. You either get drab single color or you get Hawaiian shirts, and there's
Yeah.
nothing in between them.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
if you want colour Hawaiian shirts, that's become Milton Jones. That's it. That's all you got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hawaiian shirts is probably gonna be like my next step into whatever fashion I'm going for.
I like the idea of giving it a go. Hawaiian shirt and a nice suit.
Because
Can buy for
it's
two.
They're
I
fairly
love
comfortable.
color, but I don't like women's button-ups. They suck. They really suck
Yeah.
because they're always see-through. They're either cropped or they're like slightly like sheer. And I hate it.
By the
I will say, don't expect the Hawaiian shirt to keep you warm because they are designed to be breathable.
oh yeah,
And
for me
that's
that's great.
fair.
I'm good with
Yeah,
that.
that's also great for me. I love that because then in the winter I can just wear a vest over it, a like zip up hoodie. I don't know what you call.
Hoodie,
What do you guys call
hoodie.
a hoodie?
Jacket or hoodie, depending on material and style.
Yeah, I don't know. Because for me a hoodie doesn't have a zipper.
Oh
For
okay.
the most part, that's true here too. Though there's sweaters that are a similar style but have a zipper in the front are also sometimes called hoodies
Mm,
because words.
For us, if it has a hood, it's a hoodie.
fair enough. Yeah.
Also, I'd just like to specify that during this time, I've been scrolling through the Google image results of Good Omens characters, and there are so many people I have no idea who they are. I've never seen these people before. Who are they?
Who are you?
Who are you, and why are
I
you in
don't know
Crowley and
this man.
Aziraphale's show? And about John Hamm, Miranda
I mean,
Richardson.
technically, they are not the main characters of the first season.
How dare you?
Adam and his friends are.
I mean, but they are though.
I am aware of Inspector Constable. I was aware of them from the initial trailers, I believe.
Yeah, they were in the initial. I thought they would be in this season more than they were based on the trailer.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad what we got, but I wish we would have seen more Inspector Constable just interacting with the world and Crowley and Aziraphale, just because they get treated like a baby animal and it's really cute.
Well, I'm sure there'll be fanfic. You know, as I believe Neil Gaiman said in response to somebody, you know, talking about how like the ending, so on and so forth. I'm going to write something that's happy and so on, and whatever. He said, I'm a massive fan of if my work makes people create things. So
Yeah.
you go on ahead. So yeah.
In my head canon for season 3 is that Crowley adopts Inspector Constable. Full stop.
He gets
End of
Inspector
thought.
Constable in the divorce.
Yes.
It's end of thought, beginning of many other thoughts.
Yes. I could write a fic about that, I'm sure.
Right, so ChibiNetherlands Days is now Good Omens Fic Days. She would be drawing through the.
I will be drawing through my fanfic of how Crowley should adopt Inspector Constable. Just their scenes together are really cute, okay?
Yeah, I haven't seen them in anything. I'm aware of their presence and appearance. That's as far as I got. And also, I was aware of everybody looking at the trailers and going, "Are they going to adopt?" And then the next trailer came out. I was like, "That's not who we thought they were going to adopt." They adopted someone, but it wasn't who you expected.
Nope.
Yeah, the Swede. No. Them and them.
Yeah. Nobody got Jim in the divorce. I mean, I guess technically Beelzebub got Jim in the divorce, but they weren't part of the divorce.
Beelzebub's having a time. Beelzebub is yeah. Sorry, spoilers. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't got anything else to draw. So are we going to carry on chatting? I'm fine with chatting. Chatting's good.
Yeah, we can chat. I love Beelzebub. They are a non-binary icon. End of thought.
I still think one of the funniest things that I have seen Gaiman talk about with Beelzebub, someone was asking about sort of the choice with the design for most of the demons having like animal things on their heads. And I don't remember the full phrasing of it, but Gaiman was just kind of like, "How do you know he's a person with a fly on his head and not a fly with a person underneath them?" And everyone's response was like, "Thanks, I hate it."
It's all part of them.
Oh, you have thoughts, Miss. I want to know your thoughts. Give me all your thoughts.
I mean,
DM me. Give me your thoughts. Every single thought you have about this season.
Break Discord servers. You can do it. I believe in you. Have I drawn Rufus and Mel as Krillian as Aziraphale?
No.
I feel like I have. So I must have, right?
I don't think you have.
Well, that's something.
Go do it. Miss really wants you to draw this.
It's just gonna be a doodle. Who? Okay.
And
People
with
who
the
know.
Inspector Constable.
Okay, that
Yeah.
answers half of the question I had.
Now, who would Stoic be? Um, who would Stoic be? Um,
I mean, could just draw Stoic
I had a
as is and leave it
stupid thought.
ambiguous.
What my first thought genuinely was Stoic would be the Bentley, aka Curly's car, who has her own personality.
I'm drawing a car.
I mean, I'd say draw him as the chauffeur of a car, but then you also have to draw a car.
And I feel like I'm correct in my assessment, but I don't want to make you draw a car. But he would
Look,
be the Bentley.
literally nobody on the face of the earth is upset at somebody saying, "Oh yeah, I traced that car." So
No.
that's the one instance in which tracing is fine. But then I have to somehow make the face, the front of the car, a Stoic face. So I'm not entirely sure how that's
Yeah.
going to work. Or it's just a little Stoic air freshener.
Now the question is, what parts are going to be the face? Are you going to cars it, or are you going to squish it all down at the bottom?
Let's not think about that. I don't want it to be. Well, it doesn't have to be like an animated face because Stoics isn't. So it could just be anywhere, really. I mean, you
The
could.
hood ornament is just Stoic's face.
Well, that's not at the front of the car, right? You could just have like there and nose there. I know how cars look like. I gotta make that work. If you just have a little thing there in the middle of the windscreen. Like that.
Or maybe Stoic's face is the air freshener.
Yeah.
Or Stoic as one of those like little bubbly, like bubble figures in the window.
Hey, little bobblehead. This is the issue. Mal, not the tallest of demons.
Just put him on a box.
He'd fall off. Temporarily solves the problem of height, but introduces the problem of box and falling. Like I said, I haven't got anything to draw, but we can talk, and now I'm drawing and no talking's happening. We're good at this.
We're great at this. Listen, at all times something's happening on stream, okay? Either you're drunk or we're talking. Doesn't have to be at the same time. I'm just trying to think of something else to talk about.
I'm just doodling more puff cats.
Yeah, puff cats.
Puff cats.
I don't know. My entire week has basically been consuming media.
Consume all the media.
Consume it all.
Do I give Mel the hairstyle?
Yes.
With the glasses and the hairstyle, it's sort of difficult to. Mal's gone bald. It's difficult to tell that it's Mal.
Bald Mel is haunting, honestly. In a bad way.
Ah!
Erase
Here
bald.
we go again.
Bald
Hell
Mel.
happened. Hell opened up and swallowed bald Mal. This is not meant to be. I did want to do a thing where like Mal and Rufus. Well, I guess we could also do it with them and Stoic. Just sort of drawing them with like different hairstyles and facial hairstyle.
Yeah.
Just sort of like in a character creator sort of thing. As
That'd be
twere.
fun.
I remember ages ago I did a thing of it was the first sort of post-lockdown Christmas. I did a little doodle of the Outliers sort of stepping out into the world again.
Mhm.
And Mal had his sort of like as much of a beard as he can grow, which is this sort of tiny little fuzzy moustache and goatee little thing. And it's just sort of fun to see him with different facial hair. So I'm like, I want to do that with all of them. I want to see him with a
Yeah.
moustache. Why not?
I feel you. The problem, the thing is that I always want to draw my characters with different hairs and different outfits, and I never can, because every time I try, I get hung up on something that isn't relevant to what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Because I tried it today, because I was like, because I have a Pinterest board full of outfits and inspiration for Fatal Flaw for the trio, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna make like a little lineup of like Moira and just have her put on like different little outfits I've collected. And then I got so hung up on posing, you have no fucking clue. And I just was like, I can't do this. I can't draw little outfits. um. So yeah, I don't know how to like change that, like that part of my brain. I don't know how to turn that part of my brain off.
I have noticed sort of as I've accumulated sort of more. How to make this not sound egotistical?
No, make
as
it sound
I've
ridiculous.
as I've been doing this more and more and getting better and better, it is much harder for me to do something uncritically. It's much harder for me to just throw something out.
Yeah,
You
I
always
get
get caught
that.
by something, and it's like, you make this too complicated, and it's a whole thing. So yeah, the answer to that question is I don't know, but I'm with you.
Yeah. It's also, I always feel a little bit hesitant because I'm always scared that it's like that like changing up the hair or changing up the outfit is gonna reveal that my art suffers from same face syndrome or something like that. And like suddenly it's not a character anymore because I changed some things.
No. I mean, I'm worrying about that right now, but
Mm,
what does everyone think of beardless Rufus?
um, beardless Rufus scares me a little bit. I don't really like beardless Rufus.
You can go put a bit on, it's fine.
Yeah. I don't want to give Moira more outfits because I have, again, I have a whole entire Pinterest board full of these things.
Oh, yeah, outfits. That was the thing we were going to do, wasn't it?
Yeah. When? Give me a date.
I'm busy until November. So
We'll do it in November. Oh, come on, Pinterest. You just showed me a thing and I wanted to pin it, and now it's gone. That is so rude. You showed me a little preview of like search for ideas for this board, and then you show me something really cool, and then I click on the show me more thing and it's gone forever.
I have noticed Tumblr does a thing where it's like, hey, you're interested in this tag, and shows you a couple of examples. And I'm like, oh, that's a fun looking example. And you click on the tag and it's not there. So great. Why did you show it to me then?
I did just find an outfit that might be hell to draw.
Well, that's
I
good.
just I want to show it to you to, you know. Like how?
Ooh. Ooh. Uh,
That that's a lot, you know?
What is that
yeah.
made out of?
I don't know.
That looks like reality. The graphics card of reality's bugging out. Like the textures have been messed up.
Yeah, it does.
Sorry, I should put it show on screen, shouldn't I? I could see a way to do that, actually, to draw that.
Ford
would be a
actually
pain.
does this stuff in Remnant by proxy.
Of
By
course he does it by
proxy?
He's not going to do it himself, is he? It's Ford.
Then he isn't doing stuff. That's not how doing stuff works.
I mean, I guess it sort of depends on how he's doing it by proxy, because there are characters I enjoy where it's like, okay, they're not doing it correctly, but they're setting up the dominoes, as it were. And then everything falls down.
Dominant.
Dominance. But I don't believe Ford does anything.
Yeah.
Just gonna go out and say it. I don't believe Ford does anything.
Blanket refusal. You're wrong, Dark. Um,
I'm sorry. Until I play it, I just refuse to believe Ford does anything. Till I see it. Till I live through it. I refuse. He's currently helping you. Hmm.
press X to doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Pixar, it didn't happen? Question mark?
uh,
Uh,
if we ever do that challenge of girl outfit, characters and outfits, Chris, I have an outfit for one of your characters.
oh, I'm torn.
Who would wear that? Please just tell me.
Actually, the more I think about it, I'm torn between all of them.
Each for very different reasons.
yeah. My first thought was M for obvious reasons. My second thought was Stoic for obvious reasons. I mean, M would definitely have the glasses. M would love the glasses.
Yeah. It's worms.
It's way. Yeah, I don't know if we want to do that as a stream thing. Feels a bit, I don't know, odd doing that as a stream thing because not everyone has characters.
Yeah.
I want to try and make it, stream things join-inable. Join-inable? Join-inable. Jibimble.
Jibimable. Would Fritz wear the glitch jacket? Yeah, he would. He would wear the glitch jacket. Not a single down. He would. He would actually. But yeah, I don't know how we would do it. I guess I don't know.
It could just be an informal thing. Just like, hey,
Yeah.
get a bunch of stuff together, and it's like, who wants to do this? Here, throw costumes at each other whenever you want to do it. Boom.
Here's a clothes. Here's a clothes.
Here is the clothes.
Just throw some clothes in a chat. Don't know which one, but and then be like, here's clothes. Draw your character in it if you want.
Everyone pick a different clothes. Different chat, not clothes. I'm just clothes is stuck in my head now.
Clothes.
Clothes. Omelette du fromage. Anyway, there's the gang.
All together. The game. So cute.
And I'll be drawing them again after the stream because I want to get a Husk the Outliers done for tomorrow's update.
Yay.
Because nothing else got done for 2
You're
weeks.
working on it.
Ah.
You're still working on it.
Ah.
It's okay.
It's not okay. Start the
I'm
October
just doing
thing on
quick play
Tuesday.
dancer. You can work on.
Right, bye. No, that's. Oh yeah, I forgot about Cuthbert.
How could you forget about Cuthbert?
Oh, it's a skill I have. It was known as self-defense.
After
Yeah.
enough exposure, you just sort of start blocking things out.
Yep, exactly. Defense mechanism. Yee. So that was the stream. Thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed.
Yay.
Hope you had a lovely time.
Thank you.
Doing a lot of hell's happening. That's tomorrow as well.
Lots of hell.
Hell.
Oops,
Yep.
all hell.
That's what's chill. Good Doodle. You too.
Yay.
The Jets.
Thank
you
you
too.
for giving us cute little beans, miss.
Yes. I'm enjoying Mrs. Bean arc.
Yes, I
Personally.
also enjoy Mrs. Bean arc. Good beans.
Good beans. And good beans to you.
Good
What was
beans
that?
to you.
Good beans, one and all. What
And
does that
Happy
mean?
New Year.
And happy lentils.
Yeah.
I don't know things. I'm leaving now. Bye. Have a lovely week.
Bye.